Hi, hope you're well, and if it's your first time watching a DWD video, you're very welcome. Today I wanted to talk about the 5 conditions that Rupert Lowe has given reform, and especially Nigel Farage. I know I'm a little late to the party. I wanted to sort of digest what I personally think Rupert has done. Initially, everyone's saying, that Rupert's handed out an olive branch, and I think he's done that as well. But I think what he's done is gave Nigel Farage and the Reform Party a challenge. They want to see, or Rupert wants to see, how they will react to the 5 points that he has given that must be adhered to if they want to unite the right. So anyway, I'm gonna put it up, and then we can go through it, and I'll tell you what I think and how I think that Nigel Farage has and will react to this, because I think he'll be pretty negative, to be fair. So reverse mass immigration. Ending mass immigration is just not enough. The hour is too late for that. It must be reversed. Every illegal migrant must be deported. I don't think Nigel Farage can answer that in a truthful manner. You've got to remember it wasn't too long ago where Nigel Farage actually said that this will be an impossibility. Rupert Lowe has come out and said this is what needs to happen. Nigel Farage cannot adhere to that, because he is relying, believe it or not, on the Muslim vote. Because I think Reform and Nigel Farage are middle left. I don't think they're right wing at all. So all this nonsense about uniting the right, I think is just that, nonsense. But having said that, Rupert Lowe has come out and said, look, let's put our differences aside and let's unite the right. I think it's more of a challenge than an olive branch, to be fair. But once Nigel Farage seen the backlash when he was saying it's an impossibility to deport these people, changed his tune. It was all then deport. He's going to get the Navy involved, etc., etc. You believe he will do that? I don't, and I don't think Rupert Lowe does either. Number 2, demographic security and anti-Islamism measures. Demographic security must be restored and the Islamification of Britain reversed. He cited projections claiming white Britons could become a minority. Cooperation requires banning the burqa, of course. Other countries are doing it. We should do it. It's not a part of our culture. It's an Islamic culture. I don't think it's even a Muslim culture. I think it's Islamic. Halal and kosher slaughter needs to be banned. See what he did there. He's not just picking on Muslims. He's aiming at the Jews as well, because he thinks it's cruel. And so do I, and so do I think most normal Britons. Because in marriage, of course, I don't understand why anyone would think that this should happen. It's disgusting. It's as simple as that. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. It's disgusting. Sharia courts and mass dominating public Islamic prayer also should be banned. This is a Christian country. This country has its own laws. It doesn't or shouldn't have Sharia courts, and they try to sugarcoat it by saying this is their community, this is like mediation for them. No, it's not. Sharia law. They think that they have to adhere to that first, and British law should not even come into it. I don't even think they think it's second. I think they think Sharia law should be the be all and end all. I think it should be banned. I don't think it should be allowed in Britain, and it needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. Mass dominating public Islamic prayer. It's not these people, using their right to, prayer because of their religion. This is domination. It is simple as that. It's their dominating aspects. They think they can just come in this country and they don't have to think, because that's what they do. And the left and our police services let them get away with it. It's domination. It is simple as that. One of the sore points I don't think Nigel Farage will be able to let himself say out loud is a referendum on the death penalty. People are saying and thinking that when Rupert gets into power, and he's got 2.5 years to be able to get into power, and we'll talk about that just towards the end of the video, the British people must be given a full, free and fair referendum on the reintroduction of the death penalty. He's not saying that, when he gets in, he's going to make this law. What he's going to do, because he's a fair man, he's going to give a referendum to the British public to decide if they want it or not. If they don't want it, won't happen. If they do want it, which I personally do, I think, this should be made law. But Rupert is saying, give the British people a referendum so they can get rid of these disgusting, vile perverts out of this country, out of this world. I would personally end their life in a... I don't even know how to say it, just, using the death penalty to eliminate these people. Restore a self-sufficient Britain, commit to controlling spending, cutting welfare, tackling inflation, and making enormous cuts requiring difficult and unpopular decisions. These people that come over on these small boats, dinghies, come into this country expecting, because that's the exact reason that they come over here, expecting to be put up in, sometimes luxury accommodation, HMOs, new builds. They're talking about new builds and putting them in there when there's people on our streets that would, die for that sort of situation. Stop that and you will stop the boats. Give them zero welfare, zero spending money, no doctor, top of the list for doctors and dentists. I would personally, and I think this has been mentioned on previous occasions by Rupert Lowe, I would get an island. I will put them on the island. I will put them in a tent till we can get rid of them. Treat them humanely. I personally, if you want the honest truth, would give them bread and water. Yes, hate me, I don't care. Think I'm right wing, far right, whatever. I do not care. They shouldn't be over here. The last thing we should be giving them is any sort of luxury, 3 meals a day in luxury hotels, meals that they want. No, I would put them on an island. I would put them in a tented camp and give them bread and water. Restore trust in politics. Former Conservative ministers who failed our country must not be part of any future cabinet. The Conservatives failed us. Just as much as Labour are failing us now, well, maybe it's not just as much, but they've failed us. They shouldn't be given another chance. They shouldn't be in a position of power where they can make decisions. They failed us. They were in the Conservative Party, and when they were in there, they should have stood up and be counted and said, no, we don't agree with this. What did they do? Fucked off to reform for the easy ride. No, shouldn't happen. They should be not in no way or any way be a part of a future cabinet. I support Rupert Lowe and I support Restore because I think it's the right party and the right people to lead us to a better Britain, more prosperous, less dominated by a demographic that is obviously coming here to take over. Do I think it's an invasion? Yes, I do. Do I think that Nigel Farage and Reform will stop this? No, I think they would use this and they would manipulate this to get themselves in power. What I will say is Rupert Lowe gives away any payments he gets for being a member of Parliament. What does Nigel Farage do? Nigel Farage does anything for Nigel Farage. Like I say, I don't like the man, and I think he does this just to get himself into power.